One of my favorite films of all time is The Handmaiden. Great storytelling, acting, and cinematography. There's even a jaw-dropping twist that enriches the plot, and it's orchestrated in such a brilliant way that you don't see it coming. It's a story about two women who reject and outsmart their way out of a toxic patriarchal environment. Our two protagonists, Hideko and Suki, unexpectedly end up falling for each other, and their love is a perfect combination between sweet and passionate. It truly is the perfect film for those who are tired of mundane LGBTQ films that center around coming out, forbidden love, and unhappy endings, especially films about queer women. The Handmaiden is one of those few lesbian films I've seen where they have a happy ending and the plot is actually really interesting. The other film is Bound, which came out 27 years ago, so this is a rare win. Since the film is directed by Park Chan-wook, some people have criticized The Handmaiden for catering to the male gaze, but I disagree. I completely understand where they're coming from. Queer women have been sexualized in the media under the male gaze for so long. So a man directing an erotic thriller about two queer women can be very concerning. The Handmaiden's intimate scenes have been criticized and compared to the ones in Blue as the Warmest Color, which is a big insult, honestly. But there's a huge difference between the intimate scenes in The Handmaiden and Blue is the Warmest Color, and that is Park's message. Park has expressed how The Handmaiden critiques how dangerous the male gaze can be, and he has even stated that this is one of his most violent films because it portrays how men sexualize and objectify women.
This film had the message, the story had the message where the woman who had been oppressed by the quite a violent male gaze, through solidarity, forming solidarity between the two, they're able to escape from it, was the crux of the story.
I didn't want them to come across from the perspective of the male gaze. These scenes shouldn't objectify women's bodies. And behind the scenes, the actresses were left alone to film their intimate scenes. The scenes were filmed using a remote control camera, no men on the set, and only a few female staff would be nearby in case they needed anything. Also, Park didn't work alone. Jung Suk-kyung co-wrote the Handmaiden script and contributed her queer friend's advice in the intimate scenes. And apparently, it was Jung's friend that insisted on that position to be included. Jung's friend is a little freaky, okay? I know it's the bare minimum to include a queer voice in the writing, but this is Korea. Korea is scared of feminism, women, and queer people and queer women. The fact that Park considers himself a feminist in the first place is mind-blowing. Of course, this piece of information isn't going to automatically make the film authentically queer or remove the male gaze or anything. People who criticize the film always leave this information out. Context is key, and what the director expresses about their film and the whole process behind the scenes is important for us to better understand their vision. I honestly thought Park's message about the dangers of the male gaze was pretty clear in the film, but for some reason it went over some people's heads. Like, are we even watching this same movie? But everyone has a different interpretation, and that's okay. It's completely understandable and valid why some queer women wouldn't like this film. And there's queer women who like the film. And the explicit scenes, I think there's always going to be a divide on this topic because how much damage the male gaze has done. I know The Handmaiden was inspired by the novel Fingersmith by Sarah Waters, so she's the mastermind behind this masterpiece. I'm kind of obsessed with Sarah Waters' photo shoots. Like, look at this. Okay, me when I'm in deep thought. I have this shirt. Oh my god. Girl who's going to be okay. Okay, back to what I was saying. I didn't mention the Fingersmith earlier because I only wanted to focus on the film by itself. And I feel like even though the Fingersmith and the Handmaiden follow the same premise, they're two different stories with different backdrops. Fingersmith is set in Victorian era Britain and the Handmaiden is set in 1930s Korea under Japanese colonial rule. Two very distinct cultures and time periods. So the Handmaiden is more of a loose adaptation of the Fingersmith. They're kind of like fraternal twins in the sense that despite the differences, Sarah Waters seems to be content with Park for staying faithful to her work and adding his own twist and commentary to it. The real question is, can a male director respect the female gaze? I don't know, honestly, but at least we know Park's intentions and we can see his efforts to respect the female gaze in his film. The love between Hideko and Suki is so genuine and beautiful. Throughout the film, we see our protagonists through their perspective. Every scene is carefully framed to follow Suki's gaze. The same goes for Hideko when it's her turn to tell the story. We have such great, powerful scenes like this where they declare their love for each other, but everyone wants to talk about the scenes. Forget the scenes. This is what makes The Handmaiden a cinematic masterpiece. This is why it resonates with so many girl kissers. And I thought their intimate scenes were peak romance. When Suki is promising Hideko she will never betray her, and she's just like holding her face and they're looking at each other's eyes. That's peak romance to me. Like, I almost teared up while they were scissoring. So if you disliked the film, give it another chance, maybe, I don't know. And in conclusion, let the unhinged lesbians, sapphics, women lovers enjoy this film. Thank you.